Greetings, fellow Whovians, and welcome to Timey Wimey Review. In celebration of Pride Month, I thought I'd review the full debut episode for Pearl Mackie, aka Bill Potts, which also served as the opening episode to season 12 of Modern Doctor Who, the pilot, originally broadcast on BBC One in April 2017. Just in case you don't know the plot, the 12th Doctor is taking solitude as a guise of a university professor with his assistant, the returning Nardole. The Doctor notices a woman called Bill Potts, who has been sneakily attending the Doctor's lectures, even though she's only supposed to be there to work at the university canteen. Eventually, the Doctor agrees that Bill Potts will become his student. Over the term at uni, Bill becomes attracted to a student called Heather, who has a birth defect in the form of the shape of a star in her eye. Heather mysteriously asks Bill to look at a puddle on the ground. With that, Heather disappears, the search for a pilot has begun, and the Doctor has been called into action once more. As I mentioned earlier, this episode is pretty much the introduction to Pearl Mackie as the new companion to the Doctor, Bill Potts. Now, just before season 10 was released, we did have a mini episode to sort of tease the new companion in the form of the mini episode Friend of the Future, with Bill just constantly asking questions to the Doctor about the Daleks. And that was just quite a fun little mini episode if you haven't seen that before. But here, yeah, you really, for me personally, I just liked her straight away. I thought she was fun, quizzical, just definitely someone different compared to the Doctor's previous companion, Clara. So yeah, it needed that, definitely that different direction in terms of the Doctor companion dynamic. And to be honest, this reminded me of the dynamics between maybe say the fourth Doctor and Leela, but probably more, if anything, the seventh Doctor and Ace. So there's definitely comparisons between that and sort of from the classic era and the modern era. But if anything, it was a bit of between the Doctor and the 12th Doctor and Bill. It's a bit more of a mature relationship between the two characters. I thought this episode did a really good job at just establishing the mixture of emotion Bill goes through throughout the more or less like a first year at uni type of thing. So, you know, she's fallen in love, she's suffering heartbreak, but having this madness with the Doctor and these this adventure and growing this friendship as well. And I also liked the sort of the growing relationship that you do get to see, even though it's in a sort of quick sort of 45-minute snippet, or you know, a year it's kind of rolled into one. I really liked the Doctor's gesture, where there's a scene where Bill doesn't really know her mum. She died when she was really, really young. So Bill kind of built up this imagination of what her mum's like, and she didn't have many photos of her mother. But the Doctor's gone back in time and took some more photos and gave it as a sort of sneaky Christmas present. And I really like that. You know, it did hit the hearts there for me. Some people might find that cheesy, fair enough, but for me, I liked it. I thought it was a nice, probably one of my top gestures that the Doctor's ever done, especially the 12th Doctor has done in his era. And like I said, yeah, really enjoyed Pearl Mackie as Bill. Really loved her sort of character and the range of emotions, and especially nearly having her mind wiped by the Doctor, and you know, just sort of questioning the Doctor and sort of like, no, I know what you're gonna do. I've seen science fiction programs before, but let me have these memories for even just a day, and the Doctor changing his mind. It was just, you know, like I said, it's just really did a good job at introducing Bill Potts as your new companion. I have to say that I felt that this opening episode for season 10 of Modern Doctor Who kind of acted as like a soft reboot for Modern Doctor Who, especially after all the events of season 9, and with the whole story arc of the hybrid not quite hitting the mark, really, didn't quite stick the landing for a lot of people. Rightly or wrongly, you let me know in the comments. But yeah, I kind of like that it went for a bit of a different direction, with the Doctor sort of just getting over the aftermath of what happened with the hybrid and Clara. Like I said, it did need to did need to go into a new direction because, again, nothing against Jenna Coleman, but it definitely got Clara heavy towards the end, which I think kind of put a lot of people off. Again, let me know in the comments. So yeah, I'm glad that he went in this different direction with the Doctor sort of pretending to be this lecturer, sort of like not going on as many adventures, only if he really has to. Kind of similar to what's going on with Obi-Wan Kenobi series, really, if you were a big Star Wars fan at the time. And yeah, so it just sort of had a nice sort of interesting sort of feel to it, and also sort of just laying the seeds and the groundwork for what's going on in season 10 with the sort of mystery behind the vaults. And obviously the returning character Nardole. So I'll speak about Nardole as well. Matt Lucas has returned for a full series as basically the Doctor's assistant-ish companion. I don't know, assistant. Feel like a bit more of an assistant on this one. But regardless of that, really love Matt Smith. Really enjoyed his performance, and having this like weird sort of sarcastic banter. It just doesn't quite read the room with him being like a sort of cyborg. I think that's probably the best I can describe him, really. But yeah, having those funny moments that Matt Lucas delivers really well. Yeah, massive fan of his. Was very lucky to have met him at Comic Con a few years ago, and he was probably one of the most nicest guys I have ever met. Randomly asked for my photo for his collection as well. Me and my fiance was randomly dressed as Batman and Robin. But yeah, back to this again. Really enjoyed his performance. And of course, Peter Capaldi himself. This is his final year as the 12th Doctor. Quite fitting that 12 series, 12th Doctor. Who knew? Yeah, and he was fine in this. I've not been his biggest fan. I've mentioned this quite a few times in previous reviews for the 12th Doctor. I think what I do like is Stephen Moffat does do some cracking one-liners for him. But I do feel that sometimes, maybe with the music, maybe just the way he's delivering it, it goes that quick that you kind of miss it sometimes. You have to sort of go back and re-listen to it because they are funny. For me, I think Peter Capaldi nails it with the speeches. I think he's had some cracking speeches throughout his era. But I do feel that sometimes when it goes to the quick sort of snappiness, I do feel it gets a little bit lost in the shuffle. I felt that Matt and David were probably a bit better at that. But again, Capaldi brings the big speeches on there. Look, everyone loves and have their favorite and least favorite Doctor. I'm not saying that Capaldi is bad. Absolutely not. But yeah, when I've been reviewing it, I've enjoyed it more. But still having a little bit of difficulties with Capaldi's interpretation of the Doctor. I did like the little nostalgia nods that we got in this episode. Obviously, despite what I said just a moment ago, I did like the 12th Doctor having a little quiet word with his photographs of Susan and Professor Song and the TARDIS chirping in as well. That was pretty cool. And we also had some of the Doctor's old style sonic screwdrivers as well. I'm pretty sure Nadal had a classic one. I'm not sure if it was the 8th or the 3rd Doctor off the top of my head. But the other cool factor is we got the returning Mavellans having their battle with the Daleks. That was pretty cool to see, especially the Mavellans. We haven't seen them since Destiny of the Daleks back in 1979. So that was a nice surprise to have them. I think what would have been the icing on the cake for me, though, was if it was the old Daleks from Skaro, the Supreme Daleks. That would have been sort of better served, because I'm pretty sure that there was kind of going into the past to run away from the water alien, and with the Doctor saying I'm going back to see some old friends of mine. So it would have been really cool just to, if they could find, or at least, I know it would have cost them a bit more money, but to build some old Skaro version Daleks, Supreme Daleks, rather than the bronze ones from the modern era, that I think that just would have been, for me, just the icing on the cake. I'm going to give the pilot a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. It's a very basic story, a very basic plot line, to be fair, but it does what it needed to do, which is to introduce Bill Potts as the new companion to the Doctor, and yeah, it absolutely delivered. And I thought Pearl Mackie, sorry, was an absolute star. Really enjoyed her performance here, and really enjoyed her tenure for the season 12 of Modern Doctor Who. I thought she was brilliant throughout. I couldn't even think of a bad performance at all from that series. I thought she was the standout for me personally. Really miss her as a companion, to be fair. And yeah, would love to meet her one day at a Comic Con. But I also thought that them as a trio worked quite well. And I thought this episode did a really good job of giving the Doctor, Nardole, and Bill something to do, which in previous episodes and stories can be a bit difficult to do. Usually someone gets left out or a bit lost in the shuffle, but particularly in this episode as well, I thought they all worked well as a trio. And from what I remember from season 12 of Doctor Who, it worked well throughout that series. Quick pacing episode, some great nostalgia pops with the Daleks and the Mervellans, and Stephen Moffat really homing in onto his core strengths with a few horror elements with Heather as well. That was really cool. But yeah, this episode, my main takeaway from this episode is the introduction to the new companion Bill. And I think this is probably one of my favourite companion introductions in the history of Doctor Who. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to the pilot and what is your favourite moment or episode to feature Bill Potts. Importantly, this review is in dedication to Pride Month, regardless of sexual orientation or gender. I want everyone to know that everyone is welcome. This is a safe place to talk about anything and everything about Doctor Who. I won't stand for any nonsense going on in my channel. You can take those opinions elsewhere. I want everyone to feel welcome, included, and have some fun. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, in celebration of the release of Season 22 of Classic Doctor Who on Blu-ray, finally, I will be reviewing the Sixth Doctor story, Revelation of the Daleks. Until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the cloister bell for more notifications, and come say hi on my Twitter page at ReviewTimey. And enjoy the rest of Pride Month. But as the good doctor once said, hunger looks very evil from the wrong side of the cutlery.